Okay, I'm on to the next section, which is called Use Data Analytics Skills in a Business Scenario. And it's basically talking about how we've been learning data analysts have inherent analytical skills, even if they don't realize it. And those skills would be curiosity, so, the willingness to try and learn new things, an understanding of context. And in the video I just watched, that would be like being able to identify things that don't belong in a set. So if you have, four clubs and a fifth is a heart, and the clubs go one, two, three, four, the fifth might not fit in context of the hand you were trying to make. A technical mindset, which they said was the ability to take a bunch, a huge set of data basically and break it down into its constituent pieces. Think about the steps that you would need to do in a process and that sort of thing. So being technically minded. Data design, which would be thinking about how people are going to receive the data, and then a data strategy, like how to actually manage the data. So if you have those five things, you have the analytical skills to be a data analyst. It further goes on to say it's important to recognize these skills and begin applying them in all sorts of situations. And then it provides me with a reading, a case study based on a fictitious film production company, Megapic International. And Megapic has just released, the movies Megapic has released recently, they're just not having the impact that they used to have. Five out of the six releases barely broke even at the box office, and the sixth film actually lost them money, so they're very upset about that. The lead executives at Megapic actually noticed that their competitors were going through a similar slump, but recovered when they started producing remakes of past successes. Does this sound familiar, Marvel? Megapic is interested in following the trend, and so they want to use a data-driven strategy. So they hired my analytics company to help them make popular movies again. Specifically, they're looking for an exploratory data analysis to help them understand what audiences like. EDA, exploratory data analysis, which I'm actually going to add right now to this. Exploratory data analysis. So we have the following objectives: identify key factors that contribute to a movie's opening week. Understand the relationship between a movie's budget and its revenue. Determine which genres are most successful. And it says the right data set. My company collects, cleans, and organizes the following relevant information to a data set: the movie's name, release date, opening night revenue, weekend revenue, budget, the cost to create, marketing cost, ratings, and genre. Okay, now it's asking me to use my skills. So I'm going to use my curiosity. Which titles led to the best? What was the budget for the most popular movies? What were their opening night revenue? How much did it cost to market them? Oh, rating, were the G movies, PG, Rs, PG-13s, and what genre? If I worked at the company performing the data analysis, what kind of questions would I ask? I'd ask those questions. For example, you might wonder if there's a relationship between a movie's budget and the revenue it generates. I already asked that. You might also be curious about combining columns to make new metrics, such as which genres tend to perform better on opening weekend, both overall and in the seasons that the movies are released. Okay, and then understanding the context. I guess, contextually, like, what season did movies do best in? Did the did they release any Christmas movies in July, and how did those do versus Christmas movies released around Christmas? Superhero movies, did they do better? Were there areas of the country that they did better? And what ratings did better, overall? It says that context is crucial for any meaningful data analysis. By contextualizing data, you start to understand why the data shows what it does. Factors including the time of year a movie is released, holidays, and competing events can all have an impact on revenue, which is the gauge Megapic uses to determine success. Audience demographics such as age, gender, education, and income level can also help you understand that. This context might clarify which genres or storylines are most interesting to moviegoers. Analysts determine context by looking for patterns or anomalies in a data set. It also helps to understand the entertainment industry, which provides a whole other set of contextual clues. For example, family films typically generate more revenue when children are on vacation from school. Okay. Understanding context helps you solve problems by narrowing down variables that are more likely to influence the outcome. And a technical mindset. Okay, so we got to break this problem down from, how do we make more money into more um, technically. Like, okay, so let's think about this. Technically, the goal is to have more money from these movies. So, what goes into making a movie? What influences the budget? Like, for example, if they released a big, expensive science fiction movie, they'd have to hire a lot of staff. They'd have to get a CGI budget, all that kind of stuff. Versus a romantic comedy, which would probably have a smaller budget. They wouldn't have to worry about the set so much. Um, and then, depending on the time of year, they might be able to release that. So, as you've discovered, having a technical mindset means approaching problems and data sets in a systematic and logical manner. This starts with the way you clean, organize, and prepare your data. Okay, so maybe we need to rule out movies from before this slump period and movies after. Remember that problems aren't always technical, but a technical mindset is a skill that you use to break down any complex issue into manageable parts. Focusing on implementing a process, regardless of what that looks like, is a great first step to exercising your technical mindset. And then data design. The skill of data design is an extension of your technical mindset. It deals with how information is organized. So suppose the data set here is presented in a spreadsheet. You would be able to shift the cells to organize the data to find different patterns. For example, you might organize the data by revenue and then by genre, which could reveal that comedies are more profitable than dramas. Basically, how you choose to structure your data makes analysis easier, more. So yeah, I would definitely have genre, probably one of the first ones. It'd have the the budget after that, and then I would do a function, um, opening night revenue to get a percentage of the budget, the weekend to get a percentage of that, and then I would kind of, after a year, I'd want to be able to extrapolate that data out to see if there are movies that maybe start out with a big opening box office night and then fizzle versus movies that sort of become a cult classic. The skill of data design is extension of blah, blah, blah. Okay. Data strategy. Data strategy is the management of the people, processes, and tools used in data analysis. In this scenario, think of it as the approach used to analyze their data set. One element might be the tools you use. If Megapic wants a relatively simple dashboard, you might use Google Sheets or Excel. On the other hand, they want a more robust dashboard where information updates every time a new data comes in. You'd need a robust tool like Tableau. So that makes sense. So there's new movies coming out, and you might want to have that automatically pull into your data set so you can track that, over time and see those trends changing in real time. So that is it. Now here's the key takeaways. Your inherent analytical skills are essential for conducting data analysis and will be even more critical when you combine them with the tools and techniques in this program. Understanding how to use these skills in business scenarios is the first step to developing them further and using them effectively in my career. Cool.